Hi, everybody. Why is it still going? What's happening? Stop. There you go. Hey, I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show. We watch old 16mm films, and that film was called Apes. And it was part of a collection that we've been scanning that belongs to Coronet, which ultimately belongs to Phoenix Learning Group. And there was no audio, so that's why it's silent. So behind me, we have the film scanner set up, and you notice, I don't know if you can notice, it's not, what's my finger at? It's not on a reel, it's on a core, because this scanner tends to, with small reels, it doesn't, or what I call 400-foot reels, it loses tension, it gets too tense, so we put it on a core, and we're going to try it now. We watched a little bit of this yesterday, and I was super excited to see where we're going. This is Aggression and Assertion. Enjoy.
The eggs will get cold. Call them for me, will you, Joe?
Fred! Dad! Breakfast! Fred! Dad!
All right. What's all the yelling about?
I told him to call you. The eggs are getting cold.
Saturday morning, I have to worry about eggs getting cold?
It's time you were up. Anyway, you have the back steps to fix and paint.
5 days a week, I get up at 6 to get to the factory.
And 7 days a week, I get up early looking after this whole family. You think I have time to fix the steps?
Don't worry, they'll get fixed. A couple of extra hours sleep is going to make that much difference.
Huh, that's what you said last Saturday. And the one before that.
Okay. I said I'll fix them, so I'll fix them.
And paint them.
I'm painting them.
Today.
Hey, don't rush off. You got work to do.
What?
The steps, I want you to paint them.
But I have to meet the guys.
You can meet the guys later, after you paint the steps.
What about Joe?
What about Joe?
Well, why can't he do it instead of me? How come I have to do everything?
Because I said so, and I don't want to hear any more about it, you understand? Now go get the paint.
Over. Nice catch.
Oh, I almost dropped it, too.
Throw it high.
See you catch one like that.
He's a lousy scorer around here.
Hey, I thought you were painting the steps. I was painting the steps. Give it back. We're playing ball. Tough luck. This is my stuff. Now what are we gonna do?
I don't know.
My dopey brother gives me a pain. He thinks he can get away with anything just because he's bigger than me. One of these days, I'm gonna punch him in the mouth. Ah, come on.
George, garbage truck is coming.
I take out already.
There is one more thing to take out.
What?
That radio. Today is going to be the day when I am going to get rid of that old piece of junk. It hasn't been working since it fell off the table last year. George.
It costs more to fix these days than to buy a new one.
Hi, Ed. What's happening?
Not much. What's happening to you guys?
Nothing. You see what I see?
Where?
In the garbage can.
Yeah.
Yeah, radio. Come on.
I got it.
Let's see. Think it worked?
I don't know. I'm going to take it right home and try it.
Come on, Ed. That's my radio. I saw it first.
I got it first. It's mine.
You have just seen something happen that has caused a problem. To solve it, different people might do different things. Here's one that some people might do.
Nobody pushes me around.
Would you say that that is the thing to do?
Ah, keep it. Everybody knows the only way you're going to get a radio is to steal one.
Do you think that was a good thing to do to solve the problem?
Ah, you're crazy if you want that old radio. Think it'll work, huh? Take it. I don't want it. Someday you'll want something from me. Just wait and see. Just you wait and see.
Some people would solve the problem that way. Would you?
Wait, you can have the radio.
Good. Hand it over.
Not till I fix it for you.
Hey!
Do you think that is what should be done?
Come on, Ed. I saw it.
I got it first. It's mine.
Well, anyway, if it was thrown out, it means it doesn't work. Maybe we can take it to your place or my place and take a look at it. Maybe we can fix it.
Know anything about radios?
A little.
Well, let's go to my house and fix it.
Okay.
You have seen several different things that people would do. If it were your problem, what would you do? Why would you do it?
Yeah, I like an open-ended one. I like an open-ended. There seems to be a lot of... I haven't really kept up with the comments, so maybe I'm missing an important point. Here's a question. Some of you folks who've been watching the show for the last couple of months, Did I ever show a Holiday Inn TV commercial? I can't remember. And I have someone who's asking for a documentary they're working on. And I was like, oh yeah, I think I showed a Holiday Inn commercial. But I can't seem to find it. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe my brain is all like, ugh. Anyways, if you do remember it, and if you remember when I showed it, that'd be great. You can put it in the comments. But even the fact that I showed it, and you could say like, I remember it being within the last 2 months, in the fall, whatever. Anyways, this next film is about making work easier. Enjoy.
Today, David has come with Mr. Anderson to watch men work on a housing development. Mr. Anderson designed all these houses, and David and his family will live in one of them when they're finished. David can't help wondering how so few men can build something as big and complicated as a house in such a short time. For example, how can this one workman get all those bricks up to the men working on the scaffolding? Surely he isn't going to lift that wheelbarrow loaded with bricks straight up in the air. There's the answer. A ramp made of long planks. The workman rolls the wheelbarrow up the ramp. To get the bricks up this short distance, the man must push the wheelbarrow along the ramp a very long distance. But the work is easier. Scientists call anything that makes work easier a machine. So this ramp is really a machine. It is called an inclined plane. There are other kinds of inclined planes that help make work easier. This drill bit is an inclined plane, but with a slight difference. Instead of being in a straight line like the ramp, this inclined plane twists around and around. As you turn the bit, it's clear that your finger is really traveling up and down an inclined plane. This giant drill makes it easier for men to dig a hole in the ground, just as the smaller drill made it easier for the carpenter to put a hole in the wood. It, too, is a twisted inclined plane. Spiral inclined planes are called screws. You couldn't push this screw into the board with your hand, yet with the help of a screwdriver, it can be done quite easily. This is still another type of inclined plane, although at first it may not look like it. But if you look at the shape of the axe, you can actually see the inclined plane. This type of machine is called a wedge. Wedges make it easy to divide things. That's really what an axe does. It splits the wood. If you look around, you can see many other wedges being used. This ground stake is an example. A knife is another type of wedge that makes work easier. With a knife, the wood can easily be whittled. The tip of a nail is a wedge, too. It forces the wood apart, so the rest of the nail can be driven through the boards, fastening them together. What began as a series of drawings made by the architect is rapidly becoming a row of real houses. The workmen use all kinds of machines to help them do their work more easily and more quickly. This workman is using a machine called a lever. The board helps him move a heavy piece of sewer pipe. He uses a stone as a fulcrum and pushes down on one end of the board. The other end comes up and moves the cement pipe. In order to move the heavy sewer pipe a little, notice how far the workman has to push the lever down. But notice, too, how easy it is. A bottle opener is a machine. It's a lever that makes it possible to remove the cap from the bottle quite easily. Here's another job that needs the help of a machine. How is this man going to get this heavy cement to the scaffolding where the other men are working? Maybe he'll use an inclined plane. No, the ramp has been removed. Instead of a ramp, the workman pulls down on a rope, and the bucket goes up. But why? David sees the pulley turning. A pulley must be another kind of machine, since it makes the work of lifting easier. And it is. The man pulls down again on the rope. In order to lift the cement up, the rope is pulled down. The pulley changes the direction in which the rope moves, and it is easier to pull down on a rope than to push up a heavy bucket of cement. But when the load is very, very heavy, you need a more complex machine. These complicated machines are really combinations of simple machines. A shovel like this has many pulleys, and each one of them helps to make the job a little easier. There are other machines at work here, too. A wheel and its axle is a machine. Trucks and tractors move on wheels. Imagine trying to move this tractor if it didn't have wheels and had to be dragged along the ground. Wheels make work easier. There are other wheels here, too, to help with the turning jobs. The wheel-shaped handle of the water faucet makes it easy to turn on and off. A doorknob is really a wheel and axle, too. You couldn't easily turn the small axle that opens the latch without the help of the larger wheel fastened to it. If you look around, you'll find all kinds of machines being used to make work easier. Simple machines, like the wheel on this wheelbarrow. Or this ladder, which when placed this way, is an inclined plane. There are wedges like the L's. There are are levers like the claw of this hammer. There are screws used to fasten things together or to drill a hole. And there are pulleys. All these simple machines, used alone or combined in more complex machines, make it possible for us to get more work done each day than we could ever get done without their help. Machines make our work easier.
That just kind of ended. I haven't even had a chance to set up the next film. But I'll work on that. In the meantime, I've got this film set up. This is part of a civil defense series about what to do after the bombs drop in your town or city or village. This is called Manual Damage Assessment. And this is the bureaucracy associated with trying to run a government after an atomic attack. That's what a lot of these films are. It's all about the paperwork. Enjoy.
Would you repeat your location again, please? Got another sighting coming in, Ralph. Yeah. From the airport at Castle Rock in a southeasterly direction. Time from the sighting of flash to blast sound, about 3 minutes. Right. Well, with these other two sightings and this one, we should be able to pinpoint it pretty close. Yeah. Thanks. And listen, you get on the horn again if you have anything else to report. Right. You get that?
Yeah. That puts it right about here. Could be Glenwood Springs. That'd fit our other report.
Well, let's check it out in here. Yeah. Glenwood Springs. Population 3,637. Glenwood Springs.
What about special resources?
Well, let's see.
This is the Emergency Operating Control Center in an American town. A test exercise is being conducted. These two men are performing a task which would be vitally important in the event of a nuclear attack on our nation. Damage assessment, an estimate of the probable human and material resources that would still be available after a nuclear strike. Manual damage assessment is a short-term measure to define the remaining capabilities of government following an attack. It is not an automatic function, but is initiated only when more reliable means of determining this capability are not available. Manual damage assessment is used as a basis for command decisions only when delaying such a decision will have serious consequences on further emergency actions. Since initial damage estimates will be based on fragmented information, a high degree of error will be possible. Therefore, initial damage estimates must be used with utmost care. Who performs manual damage assessment? How is it accomplished? And why is it necessary? The answers to these questions begin long before the moment of emergency. The answers begin here, in the Civil Defense Office of the local government, in the pre-attack period. Harold Young, local civil defense coordinator. Ralph Harris, county engineer. Larry Boyd, building inspector. They have been asked by the civil defense director to be responsible for damage assessment in the local government emergency organization. In the event of a nuclear strike, it is important that the local government emergency organization have some capacity for estimating resources that may be available in the area for the preservation of life, the alleviation of suffering, and the restoration of vital community functions. Between the time of the nuclear detonation and such time as it is possible to make an actual on-the-spot damage assessment, the manual damage estimate using plotting tools and maps, pre-plotted overlays depicting resources and population, provides help in emergency operations planning. Five essential elements form the basis for the concept of performing a manual damage assessment. 1. Information about the resources of the area to be assessed. 2. Information on the location and nature of the nuclear strike. 3. Technical data pertaining to the characteristics and anticipated effects of the weapon detonated. 4. Time of detonation and any evasive action taken. 5. Meteorological conditions at the time of the detonation. In the pre-attack period, Harris and Boyd have accumulated all available information as to population and other selected resources for their area. In compiling their data, they have received the cooperation of all municipal agencies, as well as local utility companies and industrial plants. Next, and basic to the assessment planning, is the location of the resources on appropriate maps. Resources may be positioned on maps using the geographic coordinate system, such as latitude and longitude, or a quadrangle system such as the Universal Transverse Mercator maps used primarily by the military. Computer-printed lattice locational preplots are available for standard metropolitan statistical areas. They are arranged in 2.5 kilometer squares and indicate by code number the total quantities of a given resource. Maps suitable for damage assessment purposes may be obtained from the Army Map Service, the U.S. Geological Survey, and from state or local sources. One effective method of plotting the number of units in a resource category is the equal value dot system. Here, each dot represents a given number of units. On this population map, for instance, each dot represents 2,000 persons. Dots should be positioned to represent the true distribution of the resource, whether human or material. Another resource map, prepared from pre-attack data, might indicate location and type of certain structures that may have value in the recovery period. Symbols might identify hospitals, schools, factories, utility lines, or other resources. Some communities throughout the country may have special resources nearby which have strategic emergency value, such as large grain storage facilities, industrial processing plants, extensive clothing supplies. These too may be plotted on resource maps for damage assessment purposes. The maps are used in conjunction with specially prepared templates, arranged in a series of rings representing the various areas of destruction from ground zero. The template may be made of plastic or any transparent material. Application of the template, made to the same scale as the map, gives a quick estimate as to the probable condition of the particular resource after a nuclear detonation. In a similar manner, the appropriate template may be placed over the lattice locational pre-plot of resources. Preparation for damage assessment calls for a lot of study. Harris bones up on data he may eventually have to use in estimating casualties. This is a casualty estimation form used to predict the percentages of killed and injured. Boyd, concerned with damage to structures, familiarizes himself with types of blast damage to various buildings. The type of damage that might be expected is described for each of the several areas from ground zero. The inner zone is one of total destruction, with effects decreasing to the outer ring of light damage. Harris learns how to develop and use proper templates for various types of nuclear detonation. An air burst will create one pattern of effects, a surface burst another. Such factors as terrain, the yield and design of the weapons, wind and other meteorological conditions at the time of detonation will affect the casualty estimate. A knowledge of fallout effects in relation to time and distance is essential in estimating probable casualties. Urgent in the immediate period after a nuclear blast is the need for information on location, yield, and type of burst. Geographical location of the nuclear detonation, or NUDET as it is called, is crucial to the damage assessment. This will enable the proper template to be placed at the appropriate ground zero position on the maps or plots depicting resources locations. Information on the nuclear detonation might come in from a variety of sources. Aircraft pilots may communicate it to control towers or airway radio stations. The nuclear flash might be spotted by forest rangers or weather observation personnel at airports and other locations. Any surveillance may provide reports of nuclear detonations to the appropriate emergency centers. Much of the information in the period immediately following a nuclear attack may be fragmentary. The concept of a manual damage assessment takes this into consideration in developing expedient methods and approaches. This would be a typical nuclear detonation report. With these general directions, it is possible to estimate the location of the burst and the time it takes for the sound of the detonation to reach the observer. Time-sound tables provide quick reference as to the distance the noise of the detonation would travel in a given period of time. Ground zero may also be plotted from 2 or more sightings by measuring bearings from the observation points. This will place the strike at or within intersecting lines. The yield or size of a nuclear detonation may be estimated by observing the duration of the glare in the sky. For instance, 24 seconds would indicate a 1 megaton or medium-sized weapon. Megaton ratings of nuclear weapons are listed in relationship to the duration of their fireball brilliance. The type of burst, whether air or surface, may have to be determined against the background of certain weapons effect information. For instance, Extensive spreading of fallout would indicate a surface burst. Other elements should be evaluated in making the damage assessment, such as location of the population, time of the detonation, warning conditions, and any civil defense protective actions that may have already been taken. Now, Boyd and Harris know the essential elements of damage estimation which they will have to utilize in any nuclear emergency. They know the makeup of their area. They know or have available to them the location, distribution, and vulnerability of vital resources. They have learned the plotting techniques for estimating nuclear damage. If and when nuclear attack should occur, they are prepared with other emergency personnel of the local government. Obviously, manual damage assessment is not and cannot be a precise and definitive estimate. However, until such time as conditions allow for an accurate on-the-spot assessment, they provide a ready means of estimating probable damage and casualties when they are used by personnel trained in this specialty. The various texts, charts, lattice preplots of resources, tables, and other materiel are available to local communities through state and region civil defense channels for training purposes. Performed quickly and skillfully in the nuclear emergency, manual damage assessment provides vital data on which to base plans for community recovery. An effective manual damage assessment will depend on how well the local government has prepared for it in the pre-attack period.
Here we go. Lots of paperwork, lots of graphing. Yeah, you know, that's, I think that paper pushers in the government were like, how can we deal with the chaos of after an atomic attack? And one way is to tightly control everything through paperwork. And so there's quite a few films that I have. There's even one which I've shown in the past, which is about how to do AV presentations, about the paperwork and the reports that you've generated, etc. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, just like with Duck and Cover. Duck and Cover is an attempt to try to address this anxiety about, well, if there's an atomic attack, what should kids do in school? And yeah, if you're within the blast radius, ducking under your desk is not going to do anything, but there's going to be a lot more people that aren't in the blast radius, and so giving them this advice was a way to kind of say, like, well, this might keep you safe from broken glass and things like that. But it was really a way to feel like, okay, we've addressed this issue, so we can move ahead with thinking about other things that would happen after an atomic attack. So that's my take on civil defense, Department of Civil Defense, during the Cold War. Okay, so behind me again, I have it kind of lost tension. I have another film set up, and this one's going to totally go in a completely different direction. It's about sports. So let me change the title here. I'm not a fan of sports, but some of you are, so let's watch this.
Jimmy, zone! Zone!
Hey, back, Ivan! You got him, Ivan! Punish that body, Tony. You got to do it.
Now let's go! Let's go!
Attaboy. God almighty. Gee. Now, when we left spring training, I told you guys, if you work together, you pull together, you played like one ball club should, you'd be #1 in this league. And that's exactly where you are right now.
Tom Lasorda, 23 years in the Dodger organization. First as a pitcher, then as a scout. Now one of the most successful managers in minor league baseball. In 6 years of managing, Lasorda has won 4 pennants. Late in August, his Albuquerque Dukes lead the Pacific Coast League's East Division. But the only team with a chance to catch them, the second-place Salt Lake Angels, is in Albuquerque for a crucial series.
And if you think you got this pennant made, just let me tell you a little story of a guy that was out in a boat. And he was 1,000 yards offshore. And the boat capsized. And this guy swam and swam and swam with all the heart and drive that he had. And he got 4 yards offshore and he drowned. You guys are not on shore yet until you win the pennant. Some of you guys get a base hit and you get to first base and you stop. You got as far as a one-legged man could get. When you leave the batter's box, you got to want 2. And on a double, you got to want a triple. So let's go out there today, gang, and let's go get them. Come on. Well, too much now. All right. Come on. Come on, guys. Come on, Peggy. Gotta come on. Come on. Stay up, stay up. Come on, Peggy, way to hustle.
It is not until the 6th inning that the Dukes come to life. Now they trail 3-2, and Joe Ferguson is at the plate with a runner on third.
Get a good pitch. Keep us going now. Come on. Come on, big guy, let's go. Ground ball, you go. Line drives and fly balls come back and tag up. Okay? Be alive for a wild pitch. Come on, Joey. Good. Attaboy, Joey. Hey, way to go.
Moments later, Paul Ray Powell is up with 2 on and 2 out.
Half minute stop and crank up, Pierre. How you good hitter? Come on, big guy. 3-run shot. Come on! Ah! Ah! Yeah! Atta baby! Atta baby! Atta baby, Joey! Atta boy, PR! That's the way to come back, PR! Hey! Hey! Way to go, babe!
Powell's home run gives Albuquerque a 6-3 lead. But in the next half inning, the Dukes can do nothing right. With 2 runs already in to make it 6-5, the Angels put runners on first and second.
He never broke on the ball.
A single up the middle. And the game is tied. Moments later, Duke pitcher Stan Wall yields yet another hit. A drive to deep right center.
Where the hell was he playing him?
And the Angels take the lead.
Where was he playing him? Oh, I never looked.
Wall walks the next batter. And Lasorda runs out of patience.
I'll tell you one, you ought to have your head examined. Pitch like this. You walk that guy that couldn't hit his way out of a paper bag. So, there's your left-hander. I just don't think you got enough My fault for leaving you there.
Reliever Bruce Ellingson goes on to retire the Angels, but the damage has already been done. Going into the bottom of the 7th, the Dukes trail 8-6. They had Von Joshua at first with Ron Say the batter.
That's ya, Red! Howdy, baby! Go, ready! Oh, boy, Ronnie! Good, Jack! Atta boy, Peggy! Way to go! Hey!
Say's home run ties the game at 8-all, the way it stood after 9 innings of play. In the top of the 10th, the Angels put a runner on with 1 out. Duke shortstop Steve Hunts picks off a line drive and throws to first for a double play. The tension that had been building throughout the game explodes as the Angel players protest the call. To protect his players, Angel manager Les Moss rushes from his third base coaching box to take up the argument. Umpire Bill Robinson throws Moss out of the game, but the argument is far from over. And then it happens. After Moss commits the unpardonable sin of hitting an umpire, Lasorda joins the melee, but only as a peacemaker. Apparently, Moss's attack on Robinson was not entirely unprovoked. Moss was suspended for 7 days, but the umpire was also fined.
They were slugging it out. Wrestling's got a bad
I don't want anything to happen to Les. Oh, God above.
Order is finally restored, and with the game still tied, the Dukes bat in the bottom of the 10th. With 1 out, Albuquerque catcher Joe Ferguson walks. And that brings Steve Hunts to the plate.
Get your strikes now. That's the way to be tough.
Hunts' home run in the 10th has won it for the Dukes to add a full game to their lead over the Angels.
Oh, that a boy, Huntsy, great. Nice start. What a shot. Wow.
Here we go.
What a blast. The Penguin. You just can't beat the skipper, Penguin. You just can't do it, son. Because when you get down to the 8 ball, a little perspiration begins to form on the palms of your hand, and you just can't do it.
After the big win over Salt Lake City, Lasorda enjoys the company of his friends and some less serious competition with his third baseman, Ron the Penguin Say.
I threw a curveball the other day. It was one of the best curves I have ever thrown in all the years I've been in baseball to him. And he hit it over the left field fence. And I said to him, there's only 3 guys that could hit that curveball out. It was God, St. Peter, and the Penguin. Penguin, to taste the fruits of victory against you is my greatest ambition in life. The fruits of victory, son. The fruits of victory. All right, I'm toying with him. Believe me, I'm toying with him. Make him, go ahead and make him, Peng. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You're shooting natural now. Just can't seem to miss. No hit. Just measuring it up. What's happening? What is happening here? I can't hit that ball. I cannot hit that 8 ball. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? The Penguin done lost again. Get the olive, Penguin. You just can't beat the skip. Penguin? Peggy?
During the season, Lasorda lives alone in a hotel room in Albuquerque. For this series, his 14-year-old son, Spunky, has joined him to cheer for the Dukes.
Hello? Yeah? Yeah, hold on a minute.
The call is from Lasorda's ace left-hander, Doug Rowell, who has just pitched 3 scoreless innings for the Dodgers in an exhibition game at Cooperstown.
Hey, Doug, how are you? I'll tell you, with that kind of stuff, son, it's not going to be too long before you'll be getting your mail in Dodger Stadium. And looking up at the big Dodger in the sky and saying, thank you for allowing me to play here in Dodger Stadium. Even when I die, I'll probably work for the Dodgers. Mr. O'Malley, 3 years ago, presented me with a marble tombstone. And on the tombstone, it's got on the top in big letters, Tom Lasorda. Then it's got a heart. Then it's got underneath a Dodger. And then there's a drop of blood coming down from the heart. And the drop of blood is blue, for the color of the Dodgers. Then underneath it, it says Dodger Stadium was his address, but every ballpark was his home. I told my wife that when I die, I want this tombstone put in there, and I want the Dodger schedule put on it. Because when the people are in the cemetery visiting somebody else, they might say, well, look, let's check and see where the Dodgers are home or away.
Today, Lasorda and his trainer, Herb Vike, checked into the ballpark early. Lasorda's first baseman, Tom Paciorek, who went on to become the league's most valuable player, has been having trouble hitting curveballs.
That's just like a guy, you know the story I tell all the time about this fella that had a dog. And every day this dog would do something on the floor. The guy would take the dog's nose, he'd put it there, and he'd throw the dog out the window. After 30 days of this, on the 31st day, the dog did something on the floor, he stuck his own nose in, and he jumped out the window. He learned after 30 days. And this is what you must do. It takes every day practice, 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 and practice. Now I'm going to throw you some curveballs, and I want you to keep your hands back, and anything that's out over the plate, I want you to hit that ball to right field. All right? Let's go. Keep your eye on the ball.
Tommy is probably the most dynamic person I've ever met. He has such an interest in his ball players. Sometimes you feel like you're playing for your father out there. And you know how you hate to mess up in front of your father, because he really sticks up for you, and he'll do anything he can to help you. Well, all the other members of the Dodger organization are out on the golf course. Tommy is out there trying to put ball players in the big league.
And another thing, you got to believe when you walk up into that batter's box, you got to believe that there's nobody alive who can get you out. That's the first thing that you got to convince yourself. There's nobody who can get you out. And you got to want to be up at that plate. Curveball. Good stroke. See where your head and eyes were on that ball? Way to go. Keep that front shoulder in there. That was perfect, Wimpy. Very good. That's a double right there with your speed. That's the eye. There's no way you can hit that pitch. You see, hitting is the toughest thing in sports to do. If you make it out 7 out of 10 times, you are a successful man in your field. You take a doctor, he operates on 10 people, 7 of them die. Is he a good doctor? You take a cab driver, he makes 10 trips, he gets lost 7 out of 10 times. Is he a good cab driver? You take a guy shooting foul shots, if he misses 7 out of 10 times, is he a good foul shooter? You take a quarterback in football, if he throws 10 passes and he only completes 3 of them, is he a good quarterback? But in baseball, it's the toughest thing in sports is to hit a baseball. And this is what it takes for you to learn how to hit that baseball, is endless hours of work and work and work. And here's today's baseball question. The first person to call KOB at 242-8052 with the correct answer will win 2 tickets to an Albuquerque Dukes future home game. And the question is, who is leading the Pacific Coast League in hitting? This is Tom Lasorda, manager of the Albuquerque Dukes.
With game time just minutes away, Lasorda finishes his daily radio show. For his players, there's nothing to do but wait. Another victory over Salt Lake City this afternoon should give them the pennant. Sunday afternoon in Albuquerque, and a sellout crowd shows up for the Dukes' final game with Salt Lake. The fans, like the players, have caught something known in Albuquerque as Duke fever. But Salt Lake is not about to concede the pennant to the Dukes. The Angels take an early lead. After 2 innings, the score is Salt Lake 2, Albuquerque nothing. Then, in the Dukes' third, with 1 run already in, Von Joshua singles to left center, and Dave Lopes tries to make it from first to home with the tying run. It was now 2-2. And then the Duke power hitters go to work. Tom Paciorek hits one to the opposite field. And out of the park.
That's what, big guy, way to go!
The pitch Paciorek hit was a curveball on the outside corner. The extra batting practice had paid off. Next, David Lopes with a man on.
How do way to go, David? You go to center field.
And the Dukes lead 5-2 at the end of 4.
Hey!
In the Albuquerque fifth, after Salt Lake had narrowed it to 5-4, Joe Ferguson powered one to dead center with a man on. That home run gave the Dukes a 7-4 lead and took some of the pressure off Lasorda. But for a minor league manager, there's more to the game than winning. Lasorda's primary concern is to supply the Dodgers with ball players.
Get behind him, what they?
And that thought is never far from his mind.
I always tell my players the story about the young man who is performing in Carnegie Hall, and he's given a great performance, and at the end, all the people are standing up applauding him. When up in the balcony, there's a man with a tear in his eye. It's his father, the man who made him sacrifice many other things to reach this goal. And that's what I tell my players. When you go to the major leagues and you're in Dodger Stadium and you get a base hit to win a ball game and they're shaking your hand, just look over your shoulder, because there's old Tom somewhere with a tear in his eye.
Hey, nice shot. Atta, baby!
But in a tight pennant race, there are seldom any easy games. In the 9th inning, the Angels rally. They put 2 men on to bring the tying run to the plate with 1 out. Lasorda makes a trip to the mound. His objective is to stall while his relief pitchers warm up.
You're going far enough, Jeff. I'm going to take you out, son. You're doing a good job, but I got to bring in a fresh horse. A little warm. You know what I mean? Huh? Why? Is this the second time out?
No, you don't think that guy's around here for nothing, do you?
Who?
You're going to take him out, you're going to leave him.
Well, wait, did you give me any time to come out here? Yeah, as soon as I walked out, you come out here, Robbie. Why?
What would that guy be doing over there with that buggy?
What guy? I didn't say the buggy's got nothing to do with it, Robbie.
No, he can't be out.
But you came... Well, I don't know why the guy went out with the buggy.
Well, I give you... They do it on every...
All right, because sure, they do that every time in case we're going to take the man out. Geez, oh my, you came right out here right away, Robbie. You got to give me enough time. Well, he came right out as soon as I come out on the mound.
Well, you were out here quite a bit.
Who was out here quite a bit?
Or the right hand?
Who was out here quite a bit? When he came out here?
Yeah, you going to change pitchers?
Yes, I'm going to change pitchers.
Were you at the left-hander or the right-hander?
Which one would you bring in, Dutch, if you were the manager of the ball club?
The right-hander.
Well, I'm bringing in the left-hander.
That's why you're not the manager, Dutch.
Got him about 11 extra pitches, didn't I?
That's the tape here.
The left-hander is Bruce Pod Ellingson, one of the best relievers in the Pacific Coast League.
One out, Pod. Come on. Go hard, kid.
Ellingson falls behind the first hitter 3-1. One more ball and the bases will be loaded.
Out of on, Pod. Come on, man. Hey, check him up. Let's have some life now.
The next pitch finds the plate, and the count is now 3-2.
Come on, Pod. Get this guy.
Ellingson gets the strikeout, and the Dukes are just 1 out from victory.
Come on, Pod. Come on, man.
The Angel hitter sends a ground ball to shortstop. Steve Hunt bobbles, but recovers and gets his man by a step, and the game is over.
Hey! Great job, Pod. Way to go. That's a great job, kid. Got him, Brady. Great job. That's a way to go, Billy.
2 weeks later, the Dukes clinched the pennant in the Eastern Division.
Attaboy, David. Hey! Way to go, kid. Nice game. Way to go. Attaboy, Joey. Great game, kid. Had a way to hit that ball. Nice going, Pod.
Then, on September 6th, they defeated Eugene in a playoff for the Pacific Coast League Championship. Tom Lasorda had won his 5th pennant in 7 years as a manager.
How sweet it is! The fruits of victory. Home run! Atta-baby! Atta-boy, Stevie! I love you for getting me off the hook. Atta-baby! Way to take me off the hook, Stevie. Atta way to go. Atta way to take me off the hook. Nice going. Hey, nice going, Larry. Atta way to go. And I had to get it taken off the hook. Thank you, God. Hey, thank you, God. Oh, jeez. Nice going, Marv. Took me right off the hook. That's it.
Some of you didn't like this. Sorry. But not really. I mean, I show a lot of different films, and so I know that not every film I show is popular. I'm not a fan of baseball or sports, but I did appreciate the kind of character profile, and the fact that there was a fight on the ball field was interesting. So, yeah, sorry, can't always give you everything that you're looking for, but it's just kind of the nature of the AV Geeks lunchtime streaming show. It is a mixture of different things. Sometimes they're curated, sometimes it's kind of grab baggy. It's like going to a Chinese buffet and saying, like, I'm going to mix M&Ms with my shrimp lo mein. And sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, we'll be back again tomorrow. And if you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't like what you saw, hit the thumbs up. And hit the like button and subscribe. We'll be back again showing you some stuff. If you want to buy us some coffee, you can go to ko-fi.com/avgeeks, or you can donate to our cause at patreon.com/avgeeks. Everybody take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.